Good morning, students. How are you? All are fine? Yeah, good. So we have seen social class so nearly 1 month before. So it have been a long days. So today we will start with history. So after a long gap, so we are meeting again. So take your book. So first say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay students, take your social science book and take page number 112. So we will move to fourth unit in geography, migration and urbanization. So what is meant by migration and what is meant by urbanization? So migration means movement of people from one place to another. So migration means temporary or permanent change of residence of a person or a group of people. So that is called as migration. Urbanization means people's lifestyle change from rural to urban. So the way of changing their lifestyle from rural area to urban area. So from village to cities. So that is called as urbanization. So in this lesson we will discuss about the causes and the consequences of migration and the types of migration and about urbanization. So the origin and the growth of urbanization and finally about the problems of urbanization. So today's class we will discuss about migration and the reasons for migration. So factors of migration and reasons of migration. Okay, so let us move into the lesson. So learning objectives. So what are you going to learn from this lesson? First, to study the meaning, causes and consequences of migration. So first we learn about the meaning. So the definition of migration and the causes. So what are the reasons and the causes for the migration? And the consequence of migration. So the consequence of migration. Then to know the types of migration. So the different types of migration. So say for example from urban to rural, rural to urban. So like that. So the different types of migration. Then to describe the concept of urbanization. So what is meant by urbanization? So the concept. So that is the change of rural to urban. So rural life to urban life is called as urbanization. So village to city life is called as urbanization. Then to learn the origin and the growth of urbanization. So the urbanization concept. So when it originated. And its growth. Then finally to understand the problems of urbanization. So there are various problems associated with urbanization. She will learn these things from this lesson. So learning objectives to study the meaning, causes, consequences of migration and the types of migration. And in terms of urbanization, you will learn about the concept of urbanization, then origin and the growth of urbanization, then the problems of urbanization. Okay, so introduction. So this lesson started as a discussion in a classroom. So in 8th standard, so 2 new students joined in a school. So one of the student name is Rajesh and another one student name is Suresh. So the class teacher asked them to introduce themselves. So Rajesh told that his mother has been transferred to this school, so he migrated from Chennai to Krishnagiri. So now Suresh, so he introduced that he came from nearby village. So that is that village is just 5 kilometers away from the school. So the students asked so the term migration. So because Rajesh told so that his mother has migrated from Chennai to Krishnagiri now. So the students asked the teacher, so what is meant by migration? So the migration, the word used by Rajesh. So what is meant by migration? So could you explain us in detail? So like that the students asked. So the teacher replied, so in today's class we will discuss about migration. So like that only. So this lesson started. Okay, so migration. So what is meant by migration? So so some of your friends in your class so maybe migrated from different locality. So if you ask your parents or grandparents means, so they may told you, so they may tell so that they were migrated from, so that they were moved from any other village to your present day village. Okay, so there is a chance, so some of you maybe get migrated from your native to a so new place, so that is called as migration. So we'll discuss migration, what is meant by migration. So what is meant by migration? So migration has been defined differently by different persons. So migrations. So the definition was different. So there are different definitions given by the different experts. So normally migration means so permanent or semi-permanent change of residence of an individual or a group of people over a particular distance. So migration means so permanent or semi-permanent change of residence. So change of living place of an individual or a group of people over a particular distance. So the term migration refers to the movement of people from one place to another. So the term migration refers to the movement of people from one place to another. So migration, so there are different definitions so given by different experts. So normally migration means so movement of people from one place to another place. So that may be a permanent or semi-permanent, so permanent or temporary. So the change of residence of an individual or a group of people over a significant distance. So United Nations Organization, so they also defined migration. So they also gave a definition for migration. So as per United Nations Organization, so migration is a form of geographical mobility. So geographical mobility means so they move from a particular land area to another land area. So migration is a form of geographical mobility of population between a geographical unit to another, generally involving a permanent change of residence. So according to United Nations Organization, so migration, so it is a form of geographical mobility of population. So from one geographical area to another geographical area, it involves a permanent change of residence. So not a temporary change, but a permanent change of residence. So according to United Nations Organizations. So this was the definition. So the movement of people from so one geographical area to another geographical area. So normally it involves a permanent change of residence. So one of the most important aspect of social science, so one of the most important concept in social science is human migration. So because from ancient period itself, so human beings so moved from one place to another place. So during the evolution stage, so so we are evoluted from monkeys. So from that day onwards, so human beings are migrated from one place to another. So migration has been maintained a close relationship with mankind from its earliest stage. So migration, so one of the most important dynamic human activities, that is energetic activities from the very beginning of human life. So migration is one of the most important activity from the very beginning of human life. So during the early stage, so during the early days, so people moved from one place to another place in search of wood. So during early days, so that is during ancient period. So during the prehistoric period, so our ancestors so moved from one place to another place in search of food. When most of the people ceased, so ceased means so stopped or to stop happening. So when most of the people ceased to live in forest and began to adopt civilized life, they developed a relationship with domesticated animals and fertile land. So the prehistoric man, so he moved from one place to another place. So he led a nomadic life. So that is, he won't stay near particular place continuously. So he moved from one place to another place, in search of food. But later he began to adopt the civilized life. They developed a relationship with domesticated animals. So domestic animals, so like cow, horse, etc. And they have relationship with the fertile land. So as a result, mobility of mankind changed considerably. Initially, he moved from place to place, so because in search of food. But after that, when he began to practice agriculture, he stay in a place permanently. So after that, so there was a change in human nature. So they almost left the nomadic life and started to live in permanent settlements. At this stage, people continue to move from one region to another in search of fertile land for cultivation. So at this stage, so when man learned about agriculture, he began to move from one place to another place in search of fertile land for cultivation. So after that, the nature of mobility frequently changed over a period of time. Yes, initially, so human beings move from one place to another place in search of food. Yeah. So later, so he searched for the fertile land for cultivation. Yeah. But nowadays, so after that, so the nature of the mobility so changed over a period of time. So the factors for migration. So there are number of factors which are responsible for the migration of human population. So there are number of factors so that are responsible for the migration of human population. So these factors can be grouped as favorable and unfavorable factors. So there are number of factors so that are responsible for the migration of human beings. So the factors can be grouped as favorable and unfavorable factors. So favorable factors means so that attract people towards a location. So they are also called as pull factors. So favorable factors, so that means so they attract the people towards a location. So that is called as pull factors. So unfavorable factors, so that make the people to move out from a location. So that is called as push factor. So pull factors that attract the people towards a location. So push factor, so that force the people to move out from a location. So factors of migration, so normally classified as favorable and unfavorable factors. So favorable factors, so that attracts the people towards a location. So they are also called as pull factors. Unfavorable factors, so that make the people to move out from a location. So they are also called as push factors. So then apart from the various factors, there are various causes so that are responsible for the human migration. So they can be categorized under 5 headings. So 5 groups. So first one is ecological or natural causes of migration. So ecological or natural causes of migration. So this type of migration is because of the natural calamities. So like volcanic eruption, earthquake, flood and drought, etc. So sometimes so because of volcanic eruption, or sometimes because of earthquake or flood or drought. So these are the natural causes. So people so leave their home place and move to a new place. So they migrated from one place to another place. So these events so force the people to leave their native place and settle in new areas. So the natural calamities like volcanic eruption, earthquake, flood, drought, etc. So famine, like that, etc. So these events, so these things forced the people to leave their native place and settle in new areas. So the conditions like the availability of water resources, areas free from hazard, so like that volcanic eruption, earthquake, then pollution. So these things, so they act as the pull factors. So they attract the migrants. So the various causes so that are responsible for human migration. So first one, ecological or natural causes of migration. So the causes operate under this category are natural ones. So natural causes, so which include volcanic eruption, earthquake, flood, drought, etc. So this event so force the people to leave their native place and settled in a new area. So the conditions like the availability of water resources, so the areas free from natural hazards or man-made hazards, and pollution, etc. So they attract the migrants. Then economic causes of migration. So economy is one of the most important causes of human migration from one area to another area. So economy is the most important cause of human migration. So various economic causes determine the level and the direction of migration. So the economic causes, so the availability of fertile agricultural land, employment opportunity, development of technology, etc. are some of the economic causes that attract migration. So people so migrated from one place to another place, so in order to improve their economic status. So if there is more economic opportunity means so people are attracted towards that region only. So initially we gave importance to agriculture. So ancient men so move and settled in the fertile area. So the availability of fertile agricultural land, then later employment opportunities and the development of technology. So some of the economic causes that attract the migration. So the mass poverty and unemployment so force the people to move out from their native place to the places where the better employment opportunities are available. So the mass poverty and unemployment in their locality, so that force the people to move out from their native place, so and they move towards the place so where there are better employment opportunities are available. So economic, some economic factor is one of the most important causes of migration. So socio-cultural causes of migration. social and cultural factors. So they also play an important role in the process of migration. So say for example, if a woman get married means she left her parents home and came to her husband home, no. So the migration of women after marriage, and the migration associated with pilgrimage. So pilgrimage means so journey to a holy place for religious reason. Okay, so journey to a holy place for religious reason. So migration of women after marriage and migration associated with the pilgrimage are based on the socio-cultural customs. So some of the old persons. So some of our so grandparents. So they went to temples. So the famous temples. And they tried to have a so nomadic life. So they try to have a so ascetic life. So that type of migration is called as so socio-cultural migration. So migration of women after marriage and migration associated with the pilgrimage are based on the socio-cultural customs. Then demographic causes of migration. So demography means so changing number of birth, death, diseases, etc. in a community over a period of time, and the scientific study of these factors is called as demography. So the scientific study of population. In demographic sense, the population composition like age and sex, overpopulation and underpopulation are the major causes of migration. So in the demographic sense, the population composition like age and sex, so overpopulation and underpopulation. See, these are the major causes of migration. So it is well known fact that adults are the more migratory than any other age group. So it is well known that adult age, that is the working age people, are more migratory than any other age group. So women mostly migrate after their marriage. So women mostly migrate so after their marriage. So generally overpopulation is considered as a push factor and underpopulation to be pull factor in the context of migration. So generally overpopulation. So if there is more population, so overpopulation means so it is a push factor. So it push the people. So to make the people to move out from that place. So underpopulation. So if there is less population, so but if there is more employment opportunity and if there is various factors that pull the people means it acts as a pull factor. So demographic causes of migration. Then political causes of migration. So the last one. So various political causes like colonization. So colonization means so if one country occupies another country and control that country, so using power means that is called as colonization. Then war, government policies, etc. have always been playing an important role in human migration from time to time. So various political causes like colonization, war. So if a country or if a locality is often affected by war, so say for example in our country, so Jammu and Kashmir, so often faced the problem of war. So between India and Pakistan. Then government policies. If the government often changes its policy means so it is very difficult for the people to live. So live peacefully in that country. So these things so play an important role in human migration from time to time. So wars have been one of the significant causes of migration since ancient time. So war, so one of the most important causes of migration so since ancient time. So pull factors and push factors. So in your book, so take page number 114. So you can see a table, pull factors and push factors. So pull factors, first we will discuss about pull factors. So the natural causes, economic causes, socio-cultural causes, demographic causes and political causes. So natural causes, pull factors. So least hazard prone zone. So if there is least hazard area means it attract the people. Then favorable climate, then abundance of natural resources and minerals. So if you take push factors, the natural causes, so hazard prone zones. So like earthquake, so if earthquake often happen, so or tsunami, so like that. So then the climate change, so including extreme weather events. Then the crop failure and the scarcity of food. So these things so force the people to move out from that place. Then economic causes, it includes say employment opportunity is there means it acts as a pull factor. Then unemployment, it acts as a push factor. Then socio-cultural causes, so pull factors that attracts the people. That is social unification. If the people so are union, so if the people are united, So then it is a pull factor. So push factor, so social discrimination. So the people see partiality. So if there is any differentiation, so particularly in the name of race or language, so that push the people to move away from that place. Then demographic causes, it includes, so pull factor means so underpopulation, so push factor overpopulation. Then political causes, so pull factors which attract the people. So if there is political security, then independence and freedom. Then affordable and accessible urban service, so like healthcare, education, transport, etc. means so that attract the people to that locality. So push factor, so the factors so which pushes the people away from that area, so like war, so civil, so unrest, and also it includes safety and security concern. Then inadequate and limited urban services and infrastructure. So if there is inadequate urban service means so that also push the people to move from that locality. So pull factor, then push factor. Okay, okay students, so today's class we discussed about the definition of migration. So migration, so the permanent or semi-permanent change of residence of an individual or a group of people over a significant distance. We discussed about United Nations definition of migration. So human migration, it happened from ancient period to modern day, so present day itself. So ancient period, so before prehistoric period, so before ancient period, so prehistoric period, so human beings migrated from one place to another place in search of food. So later, so they adopted civilized way of life. So they searched the fertile land for cultivation. Then after that, so there are a lot of changes in human society. So the migration factors also changed. So normally, so human migration, so classified as two. So classified under two factors. So pull factor, then push factor. So the pull factors that attract the people towards a location, then push factors that force the people to move out from a location. So the causes of human migration can be categorized under 5 headings. Psychological or natural causes, economic causes, then socio-cultural causes, then demographic causes, then political causes. Then finally we discussed about pull factor, then push factor. Okay students, so take your book. So take page number 114. Your textbook reading. So read the table, pull factor, then push factor. So read it loudly. So after a long gap, so you are taking your social science book. So read it carefully. So then homework. So take page number 120. So sixth round letter. So first question, third question, then fourth question. So first question, define migration. So answer, take page number 112. See the heading, sand heading, migration. So in that second line, so strike out in general. So migration is defined as the permanent or semi-permanent change of residence of an individual or a group of people over a significant distance. So that is the answer for first question. Then third question, so state the causes of ecological or natural migration. So page number 113. So see the heading, A, ecological or natural causes of migration. So second line, so last words, so volcanic eruption, earthquake, flood, drought, etc. Then fourth, name any 2 pull factors of migration. So take page number 114. See the table. So they mention as pull factor and push factors now. So in pull factors, so write any 2. So favorable climate, potential for unemployment, social unification, underpopulation, political security. So like that, there are a lot of points are there now. So just write any 2. So favorable climate, potential for unemployment, or least hazard prone zone, or social unification. So this is the answer for fourth question. So write it in your homework note and read it well. So thank you students. So have a nice day.